Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for
Maybe
coming.
maybe please have a seat.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
So how's your day been going?
I've been good. You? Yourself?
Yep, we're doing well. Thank you. Anyway, thank you for inviting us to your office. So we understand that you want to try to cater towards the Gen Z audience a lot more.
Yes, correct.
And so me as the branding director and obviously my partner,
As the director of research.
it's our job to obviously cater towards your needs. Obviously, we understand your concerns as the vice president of promotion, but don't worry, we're here. So, first, I'd like to start off with essentially what is our market and how can we essentially identify it? Because the market it's the demographic of our business, and it allows us to target specific groups of customers, which in this case are Gen Z kids. And it allows us to be a lot more efficient with our marketing. Essentially, if we're using strategies that more so cater towards older groups of people, say more so boomers or millennials, they might understand references that cater towards them. But the Gen Z kids won't understand it, right? They'll be more so left confused and they won't understand the true meaning of our promotion and our marketing strategies. And also, it allows us to be a lot more efficient towards the Gen Z market themselves because since Gen Z is our target market, we can use more so modern trends that kids maybe they partake in at school nowadays, or just patterns that other companies have seen through secondary and primary research and found out what Gen Z prefers nowadays.
So now I really want to go over identifying information and what's important to be monitored for decision making within a business. So there are multiple things that go into making business decisions, right? As these can be really important and provide big changes. Some of these would be trends and fads in the community, as well as different demographics. So this could include the ages that we're catering towards, which in this case, Gen Z. It could be maybe how much money we're making, so we should keep that into account. That they might not have a lot to spend, or maybe they're just getting into work, a new job, so we can work on something like that. There's also things where they're coming from, what their new interests might be, and these all help us make more decisions on what we should be including as well as marketing. In addition to that, there are also other things. Instead of marketing, looking at who we're sponsoring. So a lot of the amusement parks and different attractions we're bringing up, we should see how people react towards them. We should see their reviews on them, and based on that, then we should suggest them to our customers. Because let's say there's an amusement park that has a lot of bad reviews. We don't really want to be suggesting this to our audience because they might go and have a bad experience and they might not like what we're writing. However, let's say we have amusement park number 2, Wonderland. It has 5-star reviews, amazing. So when people will go there, they'll see, hey, I'm glad I read this. So that's also something we should keep in mind. So both the customers and the businesses we're working with. Next, I'll be going over and explaining the types of primary information that we can gain from the hospitality and tourism. So stuff like this is something you would collect first, right? This could be whether it's reviews, maybe it's surveys, or observing. So reviews would be something like people give complaints or something that they want us to improve on. And since it's coming directly to us, we can now process and analyze these things to see what we should be working on. Next one would be something like surveys. At the end, when someone reads it, at the very end, we can put a link to a survey. People can answer questions of how helpful they found it and what things catered most towards them. Since we're now appealing to a new generation of people, there's going to be some things that are changing. So getting their first-hand insight on this can be very useful. And thirdly, would just be observing. Observation is a key aspect when it comes to primary information because you're getting a look around the world for yourself. So for example, we could have employees set up in different places to just be looking over and seeing what people are coming here. And we could provide things where it's like, oh, scan this link and maybe you get like a free copy. This would allow us to know how many people are reading the magazine when they're going over and we'll know what things are specifically catering towards their audience. With primary information, though, that's the thing we get firsthand. But I also want to explain sources of secondhand marketing information in the hospitality and tourism industry. So secondhand is something that's already been collected for you, and now that you would be using it to process and do stuff with it. So this can include maybe reading articles, right, of what things are changing and stuff like that, as well as national census, etc. Because these are information that has already been collected for us. It makes it easier on our part. As for how we obtain these, firstly would be Google searching different trends and fads because they've already been collected for us. We can just search them up, find them easily. Comparing them to different sources is also important just to verify how true they actually are to their original source material, and just seeing what people are posting around, like for example, blogs and everything else, social media posts. This helps us get our own view of things from other people's experiences. And I'll be passing it back to
So, essentially, building off of what my partner said about different research strategies, some of the information that we have been able to collect from the research strategies is some of the issues and trends that we currently face with our Gen Z audience. Obviously, one of the biggest trends right now with Gen Z audiences is a trend of variety of cultural foods. Essentially, Gen Z nowadays, they like to experiment with different types of food markets, let's say whether it be Asian, African, North American, South American, all these different types of food variety groups that it's a huge trend right now. And so what we can do is we can in a way cater our next volume of brochures towards check out all new restaurant that opened up over here, or check out this other restaurant that opened up here. And this in a way will just catch their eye and may say, oh wow, this is really neat. It has a lot of information of what we really want right now. Another opportunity that we have to build upon one of the trends is being online. Where Gen Z, they love to be online. Very rarely do they really actually use paper in their lives nowadays, right? So a few of them maybe like to use paper copies, but most people like to use their own cellular devices or other devices that they have to go online and to research from there. So what we can do is, as an opportunity for us, is to expand our brochure to online services, where we can open up our own website and we can just keep the same information that we have in our brochure right now, since they're already very in-depth. We can simply just translate that over onto a website, and this will allow the Gen Z audience that doesn't want to go out to maybe to their nearest corner store and pick up one of our brochures, or maybe online order one of our magazines to their house, can just look at it straight away from the website. And if you would like, we can also simply just charge either, whether it be a membership, or we can just say, if you want to buy a volume, you can buy it normally, how you would at the corner store. Now this also allows for a different type of pricing, where if someone doesn't want to just buy one, they want to consistently buy more if they're a frequent traveler, they can subscribe to our newsletter. And now, another trend we ourselves have found in Gen Z are that they're actually very very into vibrant colors and also fast-paced entertainment, where we can see from trends right now as in YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels, these websites use very vibrant colors to pull in Gen Z audiences, and they have continuous fast-paced action where you just swipe to the next video and it keeps the Gen Z brain stimulated. It's not something we can do in our brochures. Maybe so on online website, we can have different offers or different places just constantly popping up. And so in a way, we overwhelm their brain, but also just keep them stimulated and keep it in their mind that, wow, this is really neat and this is something super useful that I like.
So adding on to Tejas' point real quick, here is just a sample of what our next cover could look like. As you can see here, in previous times we've stick to something that's more so simplistic so that it eases the mind. With Gen Z, however, as you can see from videos on TikTok, there's always maybe gameplay or something on the side to keep them invested. So we're using a lot of things here. For example, multiple visuals. Rather than including one or two, we'll be including stuff about an amusement park and zoos and movie theaters, putting it all out there to effectively grab their attention. In addition to that, we will also be using vibrant and popping text. For example, right here you can see the title, and you can see it's surrounded to bring emphasis onto it. And it helps readers really be like, hey, what's that out there on the shelf? And then they pick it up. And again, we can easily translate this onto a website, which we can see from this graph. Over time, people have been using more and more PDFs rather than actually buying physical brochures because it's more convenient this way. Right here, at this point over here, we can see like a whole new spike in the technological industry. Boom, a big spike, and now it's still continuing to increase, which is a great opportunity for us to expand on.
Also, since I've already talked about our issue with us having our current paper and hoping to move online, another smaller issue that we do also face right now is that Gen Z gears a lot less towards, say, famous landmarks or, oh wow, there's a huge amusement park, I'm gonna go solely because of the amusement park. More so they're there just because their own goal. Whether this could be their goal, or maybe they're there for their own business opportunity going to that new city. Say if a family's there, right, and they're going to visit family or visit friends, or simply just want a new experience, we need to focus a lot less on just specific landmarks. Say, this new amusement park that opened up, it's wow, take a look at this. Or more so, we can start off our brochure experience with just a wide overview of what the city is and the different things that there are, and the table of contents essentially for what they themselves are interested in, instead of us focusing on something specifically in the volume. Well, we could do, wow, amusement parks in the area, but instead of simply just going, there's this specific water park, there's this specific roller coaster ride. We can more so say, here's a different overview and different type of things. So you can have thrill rides, mild rides, family rides, and all these different categories is what can cater towards the Gen Z audience. And now to my partner.
So really quickly, I just want to go over something which I thought was pretty interesting, and it's how we should be placing our information. So from this graph here, we can see that most customers do get past the first quarter of our book, right? They end up here, and this is specifically for our Gen Z audience, and seeing how far they read into books, journals, articles, etc. So most of them do manage to get a quarter of the way through, and a lot of them end up reading about halfway through, right? However, after that, they start losing interest or get distracted, which is when they start drifting off, as we can see a reduction in percentages. This means our most important information should be placed right here in the start, as well as in this middle portion. And before going in more in depth in the book, we should bring something and put mystery into our thing, something that will incline them to continue reading. And another thing we can do is we can look at graphs of click-through rate, which is essentially how much people are going through it. And based on this, we can see what people are more so skipping over, what more people are, looking towards. And according to that, for this year and even this year, we can organize our information specifically.
So now, another key step into understanding the Gen Z audience is that they really prioritize customer voices, right? And so essentially we have to also understand the role of customer voice in the hospitality and tourism industry, where customer voice, generally we can use it as feedback to improve our brand and our brand image. Say if someone publicly says that, oh, this brochure is really long, or oh, this brochure has really blank colors, we can use that directly and just in our next volume maybe introduce a larger palette of colors, or instead try to put more resources into research and finding out what do people nowadays find more entertaining. But specifically Gen Z, they tend to go gear a lot towards influencers, where influencers really kind of change their decisions, where if someone was thinking, oh, I really like this place, but then they see a video of an popular influencer online saying, oh, this place wasn't the best, I didn't really like my experience, they'll in a way sort of prioritize their opinion over their own. So if we can in a way build sponsorships with different influencers, and we can improve our brand image, but also specifically cater towards the Gen Z audience, where say for example if we get a popular influencer like say Mr. Beast, and he can say, wow, I found out about where I can shoot my video through their travel brochure. And this will incline others to also look at our travel brochure and our city brochure, because obviously here at GGBC, we cover everything there is in the city. So there's gotta be something that the customer wants in our city. And so if they're ever so inclined to look at our brochures, it's a guaranteed customer basically. Now, celebrity endorsement itself also just lets us market to Gen Z while using ethos, where ethos is a rhetorical appeal that Gen Z, it just hits them like a truck, right? Where they see celebrity endorsement or they see why something is just ethical, they'll come towards us right away. And that's just one of the marketing strategies that we can use here in the hospitality and tourism industry. And another strategy that we can use are buzzwords, billboards, something that's just eye-catching, where once we have their attention, we can hook them in and we can sort of show them what our business is about. But before we can do that, obviously, we need something that hooks them in and piques interest in them. So more so something like business partnership, where if someone's already staying at a hotel and we partner with that hotel, they might give out our brochures for free, and that piques their interest. Like, oh wow, I'm already here, let me see what there is to do. And so all in all, marketing strategies, they just allow us to better use our brand in this whole hospitality and tourism industry.
I see. Now, as we are quite pressed for time, I do just have a few questions for you. So, what do you think are the top 2 ways the Gen Z version of the guidebook will be different from the other guidebooks?
So essentially, we believe that we should make the Gen Z guidebook online, and if so not possible, we should at least make it a lot shorter, more condensed, and have more information available online if we can't transfer the entire thing online. Another way we could do so, as I mentioned before, is using vibrant colors and constant eye-catching visuals, which will keep them hooked and keep their attention locked onto our brochure and not just have them wander away. As we've talked before, a lot of them kind of quit halfway through.
I see. Now, lastly, what concerns do you have about Gen Z purchasing our paperback guidebook?
Essentially, when Gen Z's purchase our paperback guidebook, it's something that they have to go out of the way to do so. And so we believe that, in a way, changing to this online format will kind of get rid of the whole inconvenience of buying our product.
I see. Well, thank you guys for putting in some effort. I'll get back to you soon.
Yes, sir.
Of course, thank you for meeting with us.
Yes, no problem.
Have a nice day.
Yes, sir. If you have any further questions, please just book a follow-up meeting and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
Of course, of course.
Yes. Drive safe.
Thank you.